Hey guys, welcome to the new and improved Doc Loyal Talks Comics. So for now, this is going to be our new setup for the weekly books and for most of the videos until I can finish my comic book room, at which time you guys will definitely be included on that and you'll get to see how awesome that setup is going to be. Anyway, let's get to this week's books. We're going to start with The Walking Dead Deluxe, issue 118. It's hard to believe that we're already here at 118. This is written by Robert Kirkman, with artwork, as always, by Charlie Adlard, and now colors by Dave McCaig. In this issue, we get Maggie Believes in Rick Grimes. This is a very Maggie-centric issue, where they're talking about how she believes in Rick and she knows that Rick can take down the Saviors and Negan. And he can get vengeance for her husband, who died needlessly just because Negan was going to be a violent prick in issue 100. So you get the continuation of all-out war between Rick Grimes and Negan and his saviors. You get the cowardly actions of Gregory, who Maggie threatens to punch and punch again. But in the end, you get the loss of one of the greatest characters who never speaks in The Walking Dead. Shiva, the tiger. Like I said, this book all the way through issue 125, when this particular arc ends, was one of the strongest runs in comics ever. Hands down. Rick Grimes, Carl, Gregory, Maggie, Negan, Shiva, Ezekiel, Jesus, all of them. They created one of the most diverse, extended casts that has ever been seen in comics. And I loved every minute of it. So I can't wait for 2 weeks to keep talking about it with issue 119. All right, we have the Not Quite Safe for Work World Tree, issue 16. This is done by James Tynion IV, with art by Fernando Blanco. And you get Ellison, who is in here getting the first real shower that he is. I'm trying to find a page to show you guys, and it's not looking good for me. All right, we've got Ellison here, and we've got a character called Sia over here. And Sia is one of the younger generations, and he's trying to find out more about the before times, as he calls it, before World Tree, before Sammy took over, before the world just collapsed in on itself. And this book, I got to thinking about it because I've got another Tynion book that came out this week, and it's got grand ideas with King Koopa and his troops. You've got King Koopa right here, who is building this universe of kids who didn't grow up in the internet era before the internet got shut down due to the undernet, but he's building these kids so that they can go and find something greater and define something greater than the universe that they left behind. So, like I said, you get to see all of this world building. But what I have to question is there any sort of end game? Because it's okay to build up something and make it the greatest thing since sliced bread. But if you don't have a significant payoff for it, if you don't have an ending in mind with something like this, it's kind of like The Walking Dead. It theoretically could have gone on forever, but realistically, no. World Tree is kind of the same thing, where realistically it can't go on forever. There has to be an end game. Somebody either has to stop Sammy and everybody from the Undernet, or the Undernet completely takes over and the world dies, and who's going to be there to record a dead world, much less see and speak upon anything? What I'm trying to say is, once Sammy wins, which is what the end game appears to be in this book, it's just going to stop. And that's fine. But it's almost like we're getting a trickle of water here and a trickle of water there, rather than you being outside in the 115 degree heat and you get absolutely just parched. And somebody comes out there and brings you a large glass of water, lemonade, big Gatorade Zero, something like that, and you just down it. Instead, you're getting a drop here, a drop there, a drop here. And I understand and I can appreciate the long game, but I don't know if I'm in it all the way through this particular long game. All right? And the next book is also in the same fate. It's another James Tynion book, Something is Killing the Children. I told you guys I was going to get to issue 50, and if we didn't see a lot more action, then I'm probably going to be out. And this is issue 43. So we have art by Werther Dell'Edera. You get to see that same style of artwork with Jessica and Bernard, the barkeep that she just met. Erica's, this is when Erica was a child. This is when Erica was learning to be a member of the House of Slaughter, when they were teaching her how to hunt monsters. And so you get all of these different characters. You get this character that's called Bex. So probably Rebecca, if I had to guess. It hasn't been told yet. But you get Jessica with the sheriff playing that she's FBI. You have all of these moving pieces, and you get really a whole lot of story to go along with this. But you're asking yourself, how many movies is this? How many, I haven't really seen a monster in here. I hate to keep going back and knocking it again and again and again, but it's the same story. Archer's Peak, first 15 issues of this series, I really believe that was the strongest point. And once he got through the initial issues of talking about a little bit of Erica Slaughter and who she was, they should have ended it. They should have ended it, because there's been no secondary big end game to this. It's excellent. The art's excellent. The writing is excellent and top-notch and top tier. But where are we going with this? Because I just don't know. And I like to have at least some idea of what's going on. So hopefully they can step up their game by issue 50, or I'm afraid I might be out for Something is Killing the Children. All right. One more real book to talk about. Amazing Spider-Man number 9. Written by Joe Kelly with art by Michael Dowling. It kind of stinks to get the Romita Jr. cover and not get the Romita Jr. art in this particular issue. But you start out with another flashback of Peter's life. And see, this to me is extremely jarring, because I get that the fight was over with Hellgate in issue 8, because he reared back and just popped Peter in the face one good time. But to go and move forward in such a jarring way, to just go from that particular instance to 2 weeks later, or something like that. You don't. It's sort of jarring is the only word that I can really think of to use for it, because you expect linear storytelling in these kind of stories. It doesn't have to show him getting up in the morning, using the restroom, eating wheat cakes, going out and being a superhero, fighting to save Mary Jane from Dr. Octopus, going home and having dinner by himself, rinse and repeat. It doesn't have to be that. You don't have to dialogue and direct every single moment of Peter Parker's life. But when you've got a linear story like this, then how do you jump ahead? To go back to The Walking Dead again, from issue 126 to 127 was, I think they said, like a 2 or 3 year jump. It was a time jump. And it kind of made sense because you needed a palate cleanser after the fight with Negan, the all-out war. But even though you had one hellacious fight in the last couple of issues with Hellgate, do you really need a palate cleanser to just get you going in a different direction? Now, it is nice to see that the Shocker is still around and Tombstone as well, but are we going to get more Earthbound stories, or are we going to split him off? Because that's what they've been talking about, is splitting him off into 2 different characters, one cosmic level and one that is more New York centered. And oh, come here, baby. Where are you running off to? And Joe Kelly, why? You've got Peter and MJ in the hallway. They're talking about things. And then instead of getting them back together, instead of moving that forward, now you get She-Venom. Why? Why would you do that? It's still like Marvel just wants to rub it in our faces that Peter and MJ just aren't going to be together. And that's a very defeatist feeling that it gives me inside, to see that, again, we get something, even Peter, he's like, the way you were teeing things up, I thought you wanted to get back together. And before MJ can say anything, he says, you two deserve each other. So you do get an interesting point at the end where Peter says, you know what, my leg's busted up, but I'm not going to stop fighting. So you do get that modicum, small, teensy amount of hope, but not for Peter and MJ. Now, do I want him to just go ahead in the next issue and throw MJ and Peter into bed together? No. It's got to be natural. It can't be forced. But what is natural is the relationship between Peter Parker and Mary Jane Watson, or Mary Jane Parker. That is natural. It can't be any other way. A while back, many years ago, when Game of Thrones ended, a lot of people got really upset about how it ended. I watched it from a storytelling perspective and my own opinion. It ended the only way that it could. It really didn't have any other way to go. There was no other branching tree that it could have gone off into a different direction. It stopped when it should have, and it ended the way that it should have. The way that this should have ended is with Peter and Mary Jane trying again. Is it going to be perfect? No. But I tell you what, if you really want to get an understanding of who Peter and Mary Jane are in their relationship, go back and read the JMS issues with issue 40, I think it was 48, 49, and 50 from Amazing Spider-Man with John Michael Straczynski and John Romita Jr. And during that fight with Dr. Doom, trying to save Dr. Doom actually, in issue 50, that's one of the clearest, most poignant, understanding pieces of script about that relationship that I've ever read. That book still brings me to tears when I read it. So, like I said, I believe that's issue 49 and 50. I don't think it's 48, but I think it's 49 and 50 of that run. We still have John Romita Jr., but we don't have Peter and Mary Jane together. Come on, Marvel. you can do it. And the last one that I'm going to talk about in an initial assessment video is Mike Carey and Jonathan Wayshak's Cul-de-sac. I flipped through this just a few minutes ago just to see what it was about. It's got a really cool, sketchy, almost watercolored tone to the book, but I will read up on it, finish reading it, and this will be in my next initial assessment video. Guys, I hope you've really enjoyed this. I'm trying to bring this channel into the 21st century. I know that I have done these videos for a very long time, and I've really enjoyed them, and I continue to enjoy them. I continue to bring this to you guys out of a sense of wanting to see you guys know what's coming out, what's good, what's bad, in my opinion, and more importantly, just enjoy talking about comics. But I also want to do it in a very professional setting as far as that goes. I don't want to do it off the cuff. I don't necessarily do it scripted. I've never done a scripted video. I honestly have not. But at the same time, you know, maybe this channel would have grown a little bit better had I done so. So I'm trying to get focused. I'm trying to get better for you guys and bring you the best content possible for this channel so that it can continue to grow day after day, year after year, month after month. So thanks for joining me on this journey, guys. We are nowhere near done, but we are done for this video. So thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.